This is Same Cast Different Name podcast, our season finale. Sorry to say, but yeah, I'm taking the reins tonight because Mr. Roland has decided to, sleep on the job, as we like to give him a hard time about, because he always gives me a hard time about being 15 to 20 minutes late. So I'm dressed nicely and ready for the season finale. First of all, I'd like to introduce our guest this evening. We have Mr. Bernard and we
Hey, how
have
you doing?
Jackie. So welcome in, you two. Appreciate you two showing up this evening for our season finale. We're going to have a little bit. We're going to talk about what we did, throughout the season. We're going to talk about some mental health. We're going to get some real people's thoughts and opinions and where they're going from here, starting from today and moving forward. And then on top of that, we'll actually end where we're going to talk about what is your resolutions. We talked about in the last episode, but we really want to know what does everyone have a goal for, and everyone out there that hears this podcast in January when it does come out, that we want to make sure that you are setting goals. And if you haven't set a goal, set something up by the end of January so that you can do it and pursue it, and by all means, we have some great mental health experts with us this evening. So I do appreciate them actually joining us this evening too. Um, Coming all the way from other parts of the U.S., which makes life even better to me. I always look at a different perspective from different aspects of life. So let's go ahead and get started, you guys. Let's talk. Let's go ahead and Bernard, do you want to start out, and Jackie follow through? Go ahead and go ahead and
Ladies
so
first.
Ladies
Ladies
Mr.
first.
first.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So
Well,
Miss
I
Jackie,
mean,
go ahead.
it's the holidays, so it's the season of mental health. It is the time of year when there are more mental health emergencies than any other time of the year. And that is simply because one, it's winter time, and believe it or not, but winter time makes you sad. And two, during the holidays, we start thinking about all those family members and things and stuff like that. So that's been my thing that I've been doing all month long is mental health awareness. I try to look at it from a personal perspective because I deal with mental health issues on my own. And one thing that I try to do is wake up every morning and just get really in check with how do I feel today? Did I wake up cranky? Did I wake up happy? Did I wake up sad? Like what is going on with me? And I've been recording that to keep myself in check. And it seems like I have found a lot of other people since I've been doing this that are kind of suffering kind of through the same things, um, being a little bit more depressed this time of year, missing, that person that we haven't seen in a while, things like that. So,
It's a good way to record what you're doing on a daily basis, because this is a key factor in knowing. It's instead of doing now the old-fashioned way, and some people still do like to write down their little diaries. Again, doesn't matter it's what gender you are or which direction you are in life. It is a great thing sometimes to record it because you can go back and you can maybe educate yourself on how you were that day and how things were and stuff like that. So that's really phenomenal to have that. Bernard, did you have any more at all, Jackie, before we switch over to Bernard then?
no, I just want to
I'm
say
here.
that we also, like, me and Bernard also keep each other in check. So I also have like a system of somebody that I keep in check with, and we kind of make sure we message each other every day or whatever just to check in. I think that's really helpful as well. And one of those people is Bernard. So,
So, Mr. Bernard, you want to take it from here?
I'm gonna take it from here. Like Jackie told you guys that watching this, we constantly message each other, checking in each other, and it helps me a lot. Um, that knowing that there's somebody that listens to my problem and listens to me personally, and that helps me a lot. And I want to thank you, Jackie, for that.
no, thank you. Me and Bernard have gotten a friendship over the past few months, um, over our mental health issues. But I think when you reach out to people and you have those raw and honest conversations about how I'm actually feeling, um, and why I'm feeling this way, it helps you learn that you can actually, not saying control those feelings, but kind of a mind over matter situation. If I wake up and I get a phone call and it makes me mad, I have learned to be able to sit here and say, okay, I'm feeling bitchy, but it's not because of anything that's really wrong. This person made me mad. So are we going to fester this, or are we going to maybe acknowledge it and try to make an honest effort to have a better day?
That is the best thing you could do, hands down. Sometimes every day is gonna be different. By all means. I mean, seriously, between life, work, family, jobs, take care of your, if you have a house or place to live in. I mean, there's parents. I mean, there's all this stuff that just gets decked up on you, and you don't learn the stuff in school. This is not something you just get thrown at and say, hey, here's what life's going to be like, and you'll learn from it. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you really have to really look at the situation and how things are going to go, where you're going to go from A to B, and maybe C, D, E, and all the way to Z, maybe. And who knows? Maybe you'll be back to A, or maybe I don't know. Maybe your route's going to take you through other directions in life. But just putting yourself in check. Check those boxes out every day to make sure you're doing the right thing. You're trying to put the best foot forward that you are. Every day is not going to be perfect. You're going to come to work. Some days may just be completely off the grid that you don't want to be there, and that's okay. I mean, that's kind of where we go in life. I mean, we have good, bad, and otherwise, but that's how the way it goes. Well, actually, we have a brand new guest in here. I'm glad to see that people are going to be popping in, because that's how we roll here at the podcast. So Miss Allie actually just showed up, and as soon as she gets her
life together,
gets her device working here, we'll have a little chat with her about things. Bernard, did you? There she is. There's Miss Allie. There she is. There's that face. There we go. And actually, my screen. So Jackie and Allie are sisters. So this makes it even better yet, because we get opinions on both sides of the line, which makes life even better. To me, I always say sometimes one way is not always the right way. Sometimes we need to look at 3 ways, 4, whatever it is, look at everything like that. So Mrs. Jackie and Mr. Bernard have also talked about mental health. Allie, now that you joined us this evening, and because our host is, I don't know, playing around with his computer and doing something else, and I'm running the show tonight for a while, Allie, to talk about your mental health checks and what you're doing for the holidays to just a little bit of everything and where you're going to go from there.
Okay. Let's see. So for the holidays, I don't really have much planned. I do plan on doing a live on Clapper for as long as I can tomorrow, because I know that some of these holidays can be really difficult for people to get through, whether it's, in sobriety, depression, whatever issues they're having. So I just want to have a place where people can at least go and connect with somebody else, even if it's just for a little while, So, because I struggle with my own, mental health issues. I have bipolar disorder. I have PTSD, amongst other, physiological ailments. So, I struggle with a lot of things with my own mental health, but for me, the biggest thing is to stay in contact with my therapist, have a good support system. I'm going to try and set up these sort of peer support groups on Clapper for different demographics and different disorders. So that way people have sort of a safe space to go to talk about issues and to talk about their struggles. And, I'm also going to try and have one person a week sort of tell their story about their life, and they can share as much or as little as they want, and it's their story. They tell it how they want. But my hopes in that is to get people more connected, because I want them to not look at their differences, but look at their similarities. And I pull a lot of this from my time that I spent in 12-step programs. and in the mental health field. So, you know, I want people to connect on a deeper level and have us not be so divided by our differences, but find some commonalities between us, you know? So that's sort of my hopes.
I do. I love it. You know what? I will say one thing here about this group here, and I'm going to be straight with everybody out there and everybody, because they're going to see this on YouTube and everywhere else, and they'll listen to the podcast, that these two right here, including Mr. Martell, that is actually MIA, or, you know, he's pretending to listen or whatever he's doing over there, setting up his hotel room for WWE or whatever he's playing around with, you know. But I will say, I'll tell you what, even being myself, and I know we have all had our struggles, we've all went through our goods and bads, but I want to take a moment and I want to say to Bernard, Jackie, and Allie, I appreciate all three of you, okay, because you're here, okay. Thank you for supporting me, and I'm so glad I can do the same by supporting each one of you, because that's how it should be. Just because some person's having a bad day, someone else could be having a good day, so they can turn your bad day around by just saying, listen, I'm having a crappy day, and I'm just, you know, and they'll throw something good at you. You know that? So I want to take a moment and say, Bernard, Jackie, and Allie, thank you all three so much. So just remember this. This has come from my heart, that I really appreciate you all three of you, and I'm glad I could help you three to move forward. Allie, I'm so glad that, especially you and I have talked about this, and I could say this, that I'm so happy that I've been able to push you in a positive direction where she's going to her. She's got a business that her and Jackie are starting, which is phenomenal. Okay, and we love to talk. When we get to season 5, we definitely want to hear about it, because this is how we're out there having fun, talking about, you know, like stuff going on in the news, people's lives. But this is something that doesn't get talked about a lot during the holidays, is mental health checks, and this is a very, very adamant subject, because not just myself, and being that I've went through my transition and I'm legally a woman as of end of October, but that's not the point. It takes a lot, and it takes your little army, your little group, your circle, okay? And I want to say I've gained a lot of girlfriends, and my circle keeps growing a little bit more around me all the time. But that's good, because the ones that are going to stick with you, they'll be with you until, you know, as long as you're going to be around, you know, as long as you keep pushing forward and do your best. But no, I just wanted to take this little moment and give you a little bit of a little heart-shaped something good that you can put that right there all the time when you're having a bad day, that I did this for you. So yes. So as we talk about the holidays, I know we're into 2022 coming right around the corner, and we know that's going to be it's a rough road. We're all trying to push forward as best we can. I gotta say, I have some beautiful looking people here right now on camera with me. I gotta lie about it. There's some good looking people on here, including myself, because I'm not gonna knock myself short. I will not do that. Okay, like have fun. So if you can Jackie and Allie, you can unmute yourself. You know, so. But it's, you know, we try to have fun. We really do. You know, we try to have a lot of fun. You know, and so the positivity is what we need to have more of. Okay, we need to bring
absolutely.
We need mutual. We need to be mutual. We need to come together. You know, really. I want to see more positivity in 2022. As for our virus or whatever's going on out there, we need to work together regardlessly of what your thoughts are and how you feel things are going. But we get together. Will I get to meet every one of these people? You can guarantee you, they're definitely on my flight list. I will be definitely flying after I got through my first flight of crying and being real anxiety and having a lot of depression. I will tell you what, I got there, I got back, I'm alive, I'm still doing my podcast. I get to have these beautiful people around me.
I heard some shenanigans you were spilling before. I was hearing everything, woman.
Oh, I know you were. Because I can do that, because I'm being the hoster now, so I can talk smack about you and get away with it. Did you turn the camera on soon? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Jackie,
we want to see your face. But I just want to say, since we're doing heartfelt things very quickly, I will say, since I started my group on Clapper, that I have met a lot of very genuine people. But what I love the most about the people that we have in the room now is that these are the rawest people that I have met. And when I say that, we know who we are as people, and we're not afraid to be like, yeah, maybe I was in a mood, or do you think I was overdoing it or this, that, and whatnot and the other? And we kind of keep each other in check that way. But I think the fact that we're just so open and honest and we celebrate our differences and we celebrate our similarities and we talk about things that people don't normally talk about. And I don't know, I just really appreciate that. I've gotten a lot out of that, because when you talk to people and you tell them, well, I attempted suicide once, and then they're like, oh, well, I did that too, but I didn't think I was supposed to talk about it. And we start getting down to those real raw problems. Like, that's the conversations that we need to be having, and that's the conversations that we've been having in the group. And it brings me so much happiness to see that people are actually talking about this instead of treating it like a stigma. And I think the four of us, I don't know, we just kind of talk about it maybe more than we should, but it has started this ripple effect. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And I think that one of the most important things that you were saying is that, we're trying to sort of destigmatize it and say that it's okay to talk about these things.
Tablet died when it was plugged in.
Oh my!
That's okay. Once in a while, kids do get involved. That's okay.
Camera
Exactly.
bomb.
Hey, look who showed up! Wow, you showed up a little late in the game, huh? That's nice.
Yeah, and I was booking my hotel for my cruise in April, by the way. It's not.
Oh, we going on a cruise.
Oh,
Yes.
I had to do this. I had to have fun with him because, once in a while he'll be like, okay, you got the reins there, Crystal. Go for it, honey. You got this.
WWE been
and
booked for 2 months already.
And I always give him it right away. It's always right off the gates. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. This is like season 4. Because he would always get on me about being 15 minutes late. We've had the story just off the air before we started. So I had to give him crap at the end of season 4 that we were going to have a little fun with this. But, no, I mean, it is those heart checks like that. Bernard, do you have anything that kind of, close to your heart you want to talk about mentally?
I want to say, first of all, to Ali and Jackie, especially Jackie. You already know this. I met Jackie first, and we had a lot of. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to talk, but I want to say just thank you for Jackie. That's about it. I cannot express anything other than thank you for Jackie, because she's been there for me since day one. Since I joined her group, her radio, she's the one that really listens to me. And I want to thank you.
I want to thank you for being an inspiration to so many people. And I don't think you realize how much of an inspiration you are, but this is the reason why I started my group, so that we had a safe place for people to come in and just talk. I also double as a mental health crisis place. So if I'm ever in radio or ever around and you have a mental health crisis, I take those things too. But the reason that I do this is because I know what it's like to feel like I'm alone, and I don't want other people to feel like that. And if there's only one person, if Bernie is the only person that gets anything out of this, then I feel like, I've succeeded in what I was supposed to do. But Bernie is an inspiration to me because he has overcome so much in a short period of time. And he checks himself every morning, and he's learning more about himself every day, and he's having real, honest, raw conversations with himself. And so I want to thank you because you inspire me more than I tell you do. And what you're doing it's wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to cheers to that one right there. That is heart well
Clink,
spoken.
clink,
Cheers.
clink,
Clink, clink. We'll clink to that one. Somewhere we're always clinking to something, but that one's definitely, definitely. So Martel, what's up with you? We're talking about mental health checks during the holidays, and this was a good start out to talk about. And I know you're busy doing your activities.
I can manage to do both.
You can, huh?
Yeah, I
Really?
can do both right now. I'm not navigating too much right now. What?
Okay. Sure. Okay. So let's talk about your mental health check, sir. You have your tangents. We've had our tangents on season 4, and you talking about your crazy antics at your workplace. But
my
go ahead.
mental health has been fine lately. I just learned to tell a lot of people who upsets me to kiss my ass. That's about it.
I mean, that's not bad. I mean, but have you helped people out at work?
Oh, I work in the hospital,
old
so
man
you're a
Theo?
therapist all the time there. No matter what your position is in the hospital, somebody's gonna come up to you and need to talk or air their laundry out there, and all you can do is listen and get the best advice that you can. So we're always in the field of giving advice in our position.
I mean, it does happen. I mean, I was in a hospital for 5 days. That drive me nuts. Gotta be honest. First time having a major surgery. After about 48 hours, I'm telling you what, I want to get out and start dancing, and that was not in my picture. It was not in the future right away. That won't happen until maybe next summer, but that's okay though. We'll just.
Are we talking about the OnlyFans thing or the strip club?
No, we're not talking about.
Wait, which
We're
one
not
are we
going
talking
there
about
tonight.
then?
No. We're talking about after my surgery, buddy.
I thought that
Oh.
was someone else's specialty.
He wants me to do it because his other friend who lives out in Vegas,
That ball
or
head
low
right
wages, whatever you want to call that city. Low wages, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. No.
I'm just saying, all you gotta do is show your feet. You ain't gotta show your face. There's good money out there. I'm just saying.
This is the guy I work with right
What-
now.
What
This
is,
is the
no,
guy
I
work-
love him. What he say? Show your feet. You ain't got to show your face. He has no idea who I am as a person.
You really don't understand. Jackie is from the South, okay? She's from the dirty South, okay, buddy? Okay, you don't understand. Shit is a little different than up here in the Midwest, okay? Things are different, okay?
I'm
Just remember.
just saying, there are people with feet fetishes, so you can make some good money. That's a good side hustle for you.
I know some people with foot fetishes.
See,
See?
she won't listen
Oh my
to me.
God, I don't want. I even want to go there, and I'm gonna be embarrassed as could be. As I knew you would bring that shit up. I knew you would. I really
Well,
would.
of course, I've been drinking. Duh.
Well,
What are you?
I know
What kind
that.
of wine are you drinking over there?
I am drinking Dave Harvey right now. This is from
So
Sweet
yeah,
I'm
where's
much
it
Canyon
from?
Valley.
I'm much cheaper than that.
I like Aldi's wine. Dollar General wine's good. That's good too. Dollar General wine. Aldi's
I mean,
wine.
I'm at the point now. If it's less than 13%, I'm not. I mean, at least 12%. If it's less than 12%, I'm not drinking it.
I don't even know what this is.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, it is less than
The
12%.
nice part
Anyhow.
about this podcast is we're one of the few that actually let you drink while we're live, because most people would tell
I'll
you
drink to that.
not. They would
I
say
will
it's
too.
best. So there. Had my tea now out of my water. There we go.
But yeah. So speaking of the situation that happened earlier this year with Mr. Itinerary, so somebody asked me, was I going to let that go going into 2022? And I tell people I hold grudges, and this is the type of grudge that I'm going to hold until I die. Just on a simple fact that once my trust is violated, there's no getting it back, especially on that type of level. So now this is a grudge I'm taking to the grave with me.
And who's Mr. Itinerary again?
I
You
can't
wanna
say the
read it
name
for us?
on here, but
I know he is. I really do.
a former GBF is what we're going to label that as.
Okay, gotcha.
But just because you forgive does not mean that you have to forget.
You're right.
That's
That is
right.
true.
You're right.
It's true.
I've forgiven the whole situation, and I'm got past it. It don't bother me no more. But I still hold grudges. It's just
No,
me.
baby, because I'm from the South. We only turn our cheek so many times before you ain't getting no turn cheek.
Exactly.
That's true. I mean, I've worked with a lot of truck drivers from the South, really, and it's the facts. This is straight up. They're like, if they don't like you, they'll find some way. And I'm just gonna leave it right there, some way. Okay, we're gonna leave that story right there. So you figure out the rest of the story
I
from
mean, it's
there.
out there for the world to hear. That's why the episode's labeled Mr. Itinerary, so they can go back and listen to it. They want to know what's going on with that.
So how was your week of work going? By the way, I always like to hear how was week. I always like to ask him this. How was your week of work going there?
Miserable.
Martel?
My supervisor still has not taken a day off. I'm tired of seeing her. She won't. She did her hair one time, and all now is just always. I'm just tired of seeing her. I really am. That's the only thing that makes the work week so long is that you don't get a break from your supervisor. I'm tired of seeing her. Makes me angry. That's why I drink.
I mean, I feel the same way about my kids. So
I don't feel
Okay.
that way about my supervisor, but I feel that way about several other people that I work with.
You see, I'm good at hiding at work, so I avoid a lot of those people.
Oh no.
Oh, wait. I think Bernard's got the worst. He's got to deal with people at a store.
So
Well,
do I.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
Bernard's at the Target.
yeah, and Jackie works with all of her family, so she has no escape.
And my husband.
That's true.
Well, he's included in your family technically.
Are we sure?
That
I
be
mean-
Martelli. Go ahead, Ellie. Go ahead.
I mean, it's questionable. Questionable.
The children look nothing like him now.
I mean, I'd like to see Martel and Darrell and Old Man Theodore, and all these people all work together all on one floor. I'd like to see that because I don't think the four of you could ever get along.
Oh,
I don't think no.
see, the thing is with me, they probably won't see me. So I have a lot of coworkers tell me, like, hey, we see you when it's punch-in time, but throughout the day, we don't see you till it's time to clock out. So I'm very good at not being seen.
Then your business.
Yeah, they do.
See, at my job, they let me cuss people out at least once a month. So
only once a month.
I said at least.
Oh, at least
Oh,
once a month.
minimum.
Okay.
It could be more than that. So it could be more. Always could be more.
Oh,
That's
okay.
true. I mean, working in the service industry where it deals with customers, that's true. Jackie and Bernard do get kind of gypped every day by people. Where I mean, I just got to deal with unhappy people at a business. That's about it.
See,
So.
Bernard gets the Karens, and that's a whole
Yeah.
entity of its own. I deal with people's food.
Yeah, the food service industry sucks. Now-
People funny about their food.
Granted, what Allie and Jack get into for business, I mean, they're still working with people, but it's probably not going to be as extensive as the general public.
It is Karens that I don't like. Karens.
I mean, there was a really good. If I could find this comedy, this woman was 50 years old. She's a comedian, and she's from somewhere in New York. And if I could find it was about Target, Bernard. But you're gonna hate me after this. That she literally took clothes because someone didn't wipe off a cart. It was all wet. So she went into the kids department and took these clothes and wiped off the cart.
What the?
And then went to go check out. I said, I don't need these clothes. I'm good. Thanks. I don't need these.
Was she a white lady?
What
Was
the-
she? I have to ask. Was she a white lady?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
that
I feel bad. I mean, granted, we don't get in trouble. It's a video. It's out there. It's not like you're working in any kind of legal trouble for that. It's just kind of funny. But just to think, every time I think about that, at least some people's carts are clean. Okay, at least I don't have the problem. The one I go to at all. So I don't know. People have that
I
problem.
I need all the Karens in the world to stop it though, because you're making the rest of us look bad.
exact.
And actually, there's 7 types of them, which is crazy. I couldn't believe that. There's 7 types of Karens out there. That's crazy.
There's 7.
I mean, it
There's
makes
7.
There's
Well,
7.
I guess it depends on their age category. It starts at like teenage
Mhm.
level. It goes all the way up to like the retirement level apparently, and just a little above that too, I guess. And I was like, holy crap, that's crazy.
So what does that make me? Oh my God, I'm thinking too much into this.
You're not a Karen though.
I know, but the Karens are ruining it for all of us. They're making a bad name for us.
No, like people just
And sorry, Ali.
No,
I
don't
feel
worry.
bad. I feel bad about the Karen name, dragging into mud. The Karen name,
Yeah,
not the Karen, but the Karen name.
we know someone named Karen. We all do. We all know someone named Karen. So
I
that's
know
kind
several
of funny.
Karens.
Yeah.
What's so funny is that when I was in middle school, like we used to call people Karens. And I think that it came from Dane Cook. Because that was like very popular back then. And I'm pretty sure it came from a Dane Cook thing. Because I remember I used to call my friend a Karen.
I don't know. We used to call people Felicia.
Oh, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
I Felicia.
Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
And it's funny how, and it's bad that people have done that. And then there's not just Karens, sometimes Karens, but then there's Kens. So we have the male version of Karens, which are Kens. And there's 5 types of those. And I'm like, so how
They don't even bother me that much.
I'm just
It's
like, how's that?
it's the what would we call them? The Brandons, the ones that go out there and try to like play with grizzly bears and shit.
That's
Chads.
true. The
Like
Chads.
what?
You
No.
call them Chads?
That is the
Like
whole
they make all of
Oh,
they make
Chad.
all of us look stupid. They make all of us look stupid. Like I'm not. First of all,
let's be honest about who's making us look stupid, because it's us. Like it's the white people who are going out there doing dumb shit, like trying to catch rabid dogs.
but what I'm saying is this bitch don't even trust the house cat. So you're making me look bad.
It's sad. It's true, though. It's facts.
It's true.
It's
You know,
facts.
there's like that like meme going around that's like white bitches are fucking crazy, and it's true.
I'm
Like-
a little crazy.
You see the stuff that we do, like we go hunting for alligators, or like I wanted to go
No,
sit
I don't.
collar. Like, why? For what? So that way I could get haunted for the rest of my life by demons? No, that's not a good idea. We're not making smart choices.
No, I'm the white person. When I see a noise, when I hear, no, I can't see noises. When I hear a noise in the basement, I go the opposite direction. I am not the one to go investigate the noise in the basement or the Sasquatch in the woods. That's not me. I don't get in the boats unless it's like a cruise ship. I'm not doing it. We can take a hike.
Martel, what about does your mom, does she like have her fits sometimes, gets after,
Every day.
Every day?
Every chance she gets, she
No,
has
so
one.
let-
She's about to be 62, so every chance she gets, she has one. I don't know what it is. It's like as soon as they get past 58, they just angry about everything. I don't get it.
So let's raise down. So do you think wherever direction you are in life, do you think that certain people, not just white people, are nuts? Now I have some friends again that are African American or black, whatever, and I will say those women get fucking nuts, crazy.
It's the difference. It's the difference.
It's crazy nuts.
You have your black people, and then you have your
Okay.
N-words. It's the difference. It's the
What'd
difference
you say?
between us.
What you said, and there's white people that is the N word. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. There's white people that is the N word.
You can't put all the black people in one category, because you got your blacks who actually go to work and do the right thing and is well maintained and mind their own business, and then you got the ones who are just complete N-words. We don't mess with them. I don't even mess with them people. I don't even drive in their part of the city.
Crazy
I don't.
come in all colors. I'm gonna tell you right now. This man in my house get crazy every once in a while. Every once in a while.
Sometimes you got to put a bullet in the right butt cheek to make them act right.
Jesus, we're
No,
not going that far. We're not doing
I
that.
can't incriminate myself on camera.
They'll start throwing around the word premeditated, so we have to watch.
And I may or may not have. I mean, I'm married to a black man. Sometimes we fight.
I mean, that's no different. Martel, you have your partner, and you two are constantly you're constantly starting trouble with them, right? All the time, right? All the time.
Sometimes I do it on purpose because I be
Yeah.
bored,
Yeah.
but other times it's because he's lazy.
mean, it is what it is. No, it is what it is.
And the
Because
true.
no, I feel that 100%. Because sometimes I want to be a bitch, but sometimes I need you to get off the fucking cell phone and help me clean this fucking house, motherfucker.
I can totally 100% understand that.
And it's not even like we want them to do much. Just a little bit, like show a little bit of initiative, and then I'll be like, "Oh no, you go sit down."
And I hate
Let's be
procrastinating
honest.
and waiting for the last minute for everything. That bothers me too.
There's only certain chores that he does around the house because he knows if he does certain other chores that I'm going to go do it behind him because I will feel like he has not done it correctly.
I mean, that's how all men are.
So
But
the
he'll
fact-
vacuum.
the facts are the facts, Martel. Okay, it's usually majority of the time. There's always the woman marries the man. Okay, just to straight up there, just gonna tell you it's not the other way around because they have to babysit the man. Okay, the majority of the time.
I
Okay,
have to babysit
Like-
old Yeller. We
like,
both
I have to
have
babysit-
penises.
I have to. I have to
I'm just
I have to
saying.
babysit Martel and his partner all the time. I have to babysit these two like I'm their damn mom.
Well,
Because they're like kids.
I'm on husband number 2. And I'm going to tell you right now, not all marriages are created the same.
No.
Not all marriages are created the same. I get a lot more out of my second marriage than I did out of my first marriage. I got a lot more financial stability out of my first marriage than I do out of my second marriage, but I had to deal with a lot of other things that just were not worth it. So I think as women, sometimes we just like give and take. Like, do I want the bills paid? Do I want to be happy? And it's very hard to find both.
I was just ready to say that's what I was looking for, both.
Yeah, it is hard to
Mhm.
find.
So, yeah. hmm
And like, I
I mean-
always say, like, you gotta make more money than me. You just have to be able to contribute.
It is vice versa.
Something.
though.
Yeah.
It's vice versa though. Sometimes, vice versa. It's hard to find that certain person in our lives that we really connect.
That's true. And like I will say on that, like getting divorced this year was very difficult for me. And like this divorce was like 2 years coming. I mean, much more than that, but like we were actively talking about divorce for 2 years before we actually did it. And like the thing that scared me the most was like I have 2 young children. Like I don't necessarily have my career down, and I don't really even think that I'm a career person anyways, but like, I just sort of like looked at myself and I was like, I'm scared to open myself up to somebody else again, especially because I just got out of this abusive marriage. And it scared me to open myself up and be vulnerable with somebody else and allow myself to love somebody. And like, I did not really plan on getting into a relationship. I planned on just being like free agent for a while. And then I met Kevin, and like, he showed me what like unconditional love is, like he made it very easy for me to come out of my shell. And honestly, if I didn't meet him this year, I like between him and Jackie, I would have been in such a dark place. Like if I didn't have these 2 people in my life. And like, I think the thing that I love most about the relationship that I'm in is that we allow each other to be human beings and to make mistakes, and we don't expect perfect by any means from the other, but we expect communication, and we expect to be able to move forward in like a productive way. And like, we don't shame each other. Like when I told him that I started smoking pot again, he was very accepting, and he, just wanted to know my reasoning. He didn't judge me in any way, shape, or form. And that was my biggest fear, was that I had just been in recovery for 10 years. I haven't had a single substance in 10 years. And now here I am smoking pot and I don't want to be judged, you know? So him not judging me on that. And then when I decided to drink, we had a discussion about it, and like that open line of communication makes it worth it. And I did not expect to find a relationship. I did not necessarily want a relationship, but it's like when those people come into your life, you can't just like brush it off, you know? And you know, they don't just magically appear. Like, even though I feel like Kevin sort of did just sort of magically appear, like it was a very weird situation, but like, you know, it takes time and effort to have any sort of relationship, and it takes that open communication and that trust that like, and this is where I know that I fall short, that trust that this person is not going to hurt me, or that this person is going to judge me. Like, that is my biggest fear. I'm very, very insecure in pretty much every single way. And he makes me feel like it's okay to be insecure and have my insecurities, but like, let's work on making them less harmful or less significant in my life, you know? And it's just like, I don't know, this whole year has just been, it's been crazy. It's been a weird year. I'm ready for it to be over.
So I got a question for you. So when you guys first started out, were you just having fun?
So when we first started out, so the way that we met is we worked at the same place, but we had never worked a shift together. We'd never really seen each other. We saw each other in passing once a few days before he came in for shift change. And apparently I was like, who are you? And he was like, I'm here to relieve you. And I was like, okay, well, everything's fine. Everybody's fine. Like, the clients are good. And I'll see you, you know, when I see you.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently I was not very nice, but I left an impression. So I go to work like the following Saturday, and he is filling in for the regular person. And we worked this shift together. And by the end of the shift, like, we could tell that there was a vibe. And so I messaged him on Messenger, and because I called him the wrong name all day, I called him Mark instead of Kevin. So I was just like, hey, sorry, called you the wrong name all day. And he was like, it's all right. I've been called worse. And then the next day we met to hook up, and we've pretty much been inseparable ever since.
Crystal, did you hear that advice? Crystal has a habit of overthinking when she's meeting somebody. So this was some good advice for you to have fun and enjoy the moment, like I've been telling you, woman.
But see, Crystal, I agree with what he says. I 100% agree with what Martell says, because you know my divorce story. And while I would have probably chosen to get divorced, I was a good Southern woman, and I would have never. You see what I'm saying? But I had no other choice but to divorce. And we'll get into that story a different day. It'll take a whole show, I promise. And so our divorce journey was very different. But the thing that was similar, Crystal, was that neither one of us was looking for someone. Remember how me and Eric met? The universe brought us together. Neither one of us wanted to be at that place. We both got talked into going. We met. I pushed back. I was like, no, sir. And he called me every day until I went out with him. And now we're married.
You see, Crystal, this is what happened when you don't try to plan 10 years stuff that's supposed to be 5 or 10 years later, about in 2 weeks of meeting somebody. This was the lecture I've been giving her for I don't know how long now. Don't you just sit there and smile? You got to unmute yourself.
Look, Crystal knows I love her.
Are you happy now that you're getting your gang on me, or what?
No, I was just saying because like when she was telling her story about how they met and stuff, everything. See, when they met, it just seemed that's a beautiful story how they met, and it just seemed like everything just happened naturally and progressed, and it just progressed into something so beautiful. And that's why I was like, even when I was telling you about the same thing, or even with me and OL or whatever, like it's been 5 years, and yet we just still, although we still don't kind of, I don't know, we've been talking about so many different things, but it's like we didn't rush anything, and we just letting things happen naturally. And I feel like you let things happen naturally, you don't have to worry about, who's going to live where and who's going to do this and who's going to do that. That's the conversation you have down the line. Like at the beginning, I just have fun, enjoy the moment. See where
Yeah,
you
I
go.
will say the difference between my first husband and my second husband is the second time around I married my best friend. And we gave each other a chance to be friends and have those. Because when I say he called me every day, this went on for a month. Because he's younger than me by 6 years. And I was like, I don't know about this. I'm not sure. You're very handsome. And I don't know why you would want to be with me, just honestly. But over that month of us having these phone conversations, we became very good friends. We met at a bar. We were both highly intoxicated when we met, but we knew we liked each other. We did not go home with each other. We went our separate ways. And then we became friends over the next month over phone conversations. So when we did finally go out on that initial date, it wasn't even a date for real. We walked along the beach with a bottle of Crown, smoked a whatever you want to call it. And not going to lie, we wound up back at his place. But we had that month of phone conversations, of raw conversations, getting to know each other, telling each other about ourselves. And by the time we got to that point, we were already like best friends. And that made everything else so much easier.
You know what? Even I think the next episode we should talk about relationships. This will be a good time to talk about them. Maybe I can get a little more key pointers. Even though we did talk about my season 3 when I started out, so this might not be a bad idea.
Well, I'm always very honest about our relationships. We argue on a regular basis, but we're best friends. We argue because we're best friends, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? But I've always been very open and honest about the ups and downs of my relationship, because a lot of people think that things should be like deal breakers. And just because you have a disagreement with somebody, if that's supposed to be your best friend and your husband, and it shouldn't always necessarily be a deal breaker. Not saying a bitch can't be pissed off for 3 days.
I mean, you're not wrong. And like, I'm the same way where like, I'm very open with my relationship, and, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, Kevin and I both had indiscretions at the beginning of our relationship, but like, we talked them through, and that's one of those deal breakers that a lot of people see. They see, if there's been an indiscretion, like that should be a deal breaker. But what was the deal breaker for me was the actions taken after we had talked about it, and we had, everything had come to light, and like, we actually moved forward in like a stronger, better way, because I wasn't afraid to let him see that I was hurt. And, he didn't hold it against me that I had done it. So like, we have this communication that's so much different than anything I've ever experienced. And like, that's sort of why we are the way that we are, without going into too much detail.
No, I
Exactly.
agree with you 100%. My husband cheated before we got married. We've always been very open and honest about this, but in a strange way, it was the best thing that could have ever happened for our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And for a lot of people, it would have been a deal breaker. But the
Facts.
fact that we decided to stay together and work through it, and it took a year for me to get over that. I'm not 100% over it yet. And it's been a minute. And I'm not going to lie. Every once in a while, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing on that cell phone, Mr. Ferguson? But it's much better than it was. But having those open, honest conversations, and us actually seeing the end of our relationship, because we were there. Like, his shit was packed. He was moving out of state. Like, we were there. I think was honestly the best thing that ever happened to us as a couple.
Agree.
And what you call this? Communication is the key to a successful relationship, and open open communication, like for example, how's your day going so far? Like open communication.
Yeah, to this day, I think, and for me, that's one of the main things I hear is like, you don't communicate enough. I'm like, well, I feel like if I tell you something, then you're gonna get angry, and it's gonna lead to arguments. To avoid a whole argument, I just keep it to myself.
So I have always done the same thing where like I don't share things because I'm afraid of the reaction that I'm going to get. But I think that the thing that I've had to learn the most is like their reaction is their reaction, and I can't control how they're going to react to certain information or certain situations or whatever. All I can do is control what I do, and I don't want to be that person who lives in fear of other people's reactions anymore, because I lived such a disingenuous life where I was trying to make other people happy, and I put their happiness as more important than my own. And that's just not the way. I didn't leave that marriage to continue the same patterns with somebody else. And I just like, and I talk about this with my therapist because I overthink a lot. And one of the things that we've sort of talked about that has helped me substantially with that is like, I think about, for instance, when I was going to tell Kevin that, I slept with somebody else, like I was scared because I put my fears and expectations of how that conversation was going to go on him. And it wasn't the facts of the situation. It wasn't that I know that he is not that person who's going to flip out and yell at me, that he has never given me a reason to think that he is going to react in any other way other than supportive and helpful. So, it's separating that fact from that fear. And I'm scared that I'm going to experience certain feelings and emotions and get certain reactions again, but that's from past experience. That isn't today's, reality. So
I will say the moment that I realized that being afraid to talk to someone was my own trauma response and nothing to do with the actual person, made my life a lot better, because that's what it is a trauma response. When you're afraid to talk to someone else because of previous conversations, that's your trauma response to say, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. If you can't have that open line of communication with someone, or you're afraid to talk to them, then you honestly need to reevaluate the situation.
Yeah. And honestly, a lot of people with trauma, their coping skill is dissociating or just shutting down and, not confronting the feelings, and it's avoidance. And that is a very common trauma response.
No responses when you get that fight or flight. You're not sure which way you want to go. Do you want to go here or there? It's kind of like a left-right thing. That's what it is. And so it's kind of hard to make the decision which way you want to go.
Right.
Do I save myself or do I do damage to myself? Which way do I go with this? So it's not an easy road to take.
No.
We all have our flaws. This is true. We're all good people.
Because I'm one of those. I'm one of those overthinkers myself. So when I'm thinking about something, I'm thinking every possible scenario that can happen in my head, and that's why when it's something I should be confronting, that's why I kind of avoid confronting it, because I went over every scenario in my head and just don't want to go through with it.
Yeah, because my husband. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and that's sort of like an anxiety thing, is you want, it's sort of the same, on the same sort of wavelength as why people with anxiety watch the same movies over and over, because they already know the outcome. They can expect it. They can anticipate it. For overthinkers, it's an anxiety of like, we don't know what to expect. And we're anxious about the result. And so we want to prepare ourselves, and our brains are naturally like lazy. They will go to those negative connections instead of the positive connections, which is why it's so like important for us to retrain our brains to thinking, like, instead of why am I afraid of the outcome of this situation, like just be like, okay, well, you know, I've been okay before, I will continue to be okay, and you know, life has not necessarily let me down until this point, you know.
Yep.
So retraining your thinking.
I was just going to say, I played this game with myself, and I like to call it worst case scenario. And that's where, when no matter what the situation is, for some reason, I always think about the worst case scenario. What is the worst possible outcome that can come from this? And then I get anxiety. And so my husband fusses at me about this all the time. He'll tell me, do you honestly think that's really going to happen? What is the probability of that actually happening? But it could.
But that's one of the main things with CBT, is that like that catastrophizing, it's one of those like negative cognition. So it you know, doing that, looking at what is the actual probability of this happening and what is the likelihood of this actually this horrible outcome. Like that's part of the exercises to try and wipe out that catastrophizing.
I mean, these are good points, you know, to be honest. Bernard, do you have any more you want to put in on there?
Like Alice have said, and Jackie, communication and our past life is just like the what you call this key to our success in life.
And sometimes it takes that, you know, you have to do those checks and be like, you know what, I need help, or I need this, or I need that, because, you know, instead of saying these once, it might be like, you know what, that person I haven't talked to in X amount of days, or maybe I haven't talked to in my lifetime, maybe I can reach out to them and talk to them about something. Maybe they might actually come back to me and come back with something that maybe I'm not even thinking about, or might come across, or might need just that help with. That's a big deal, you know. I mean, there's been situations where Martel and I have kicked stuff around about each other, off the camera, and you know, I mean, I consider him a great, he's been with me for, I don't know, probably 2-3 years now. So I mean, this guy here's been through a lot of stuff with me. I mean, this is the guy that willing to hop on an aeroplane for the first time in his life, and he's gonna laugh at me. That's okay. He hopped on an aeroplane. Okay.
I know. I want to know your secret. How did you get the black man on the airplane? Because I've been trying this for years, and I can't seem to crack the code.
So originally I bribed him with alcohol, but I wasn't gonna be there.
He doesn't drink.
So I bribed him originally, but then when I found out I couldn't pre-order him alcohol on the plane,
I was so disappointed. I was told going into this aero flight that I was gonna have alcohol, and I got on the aeroplane. There was no alcohol. I was pissed off.
No, I tried so hard for him, and he couldn't. And I told him not to be drunk at the airport because then he won't be on the flight. So
I told him I would give him one of my happy pills before we got on the plane.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what we can do, Jackie. I mean, I got him on an aeroplane. He got to Baltimore and back.
To be honest,
I will say,
I was very nervous getting on the plane, but once I was on the plane, I just forced myself to get on the plane. And once I got on the plane, I was like, well,
it's not that bad.
I'm on here now, and they closed the door, so there's no getting off. So I might as well just go through with this.
We're gonna need you.
And it wasn't that bad.
My brother-in-law there.
Oh no, I hated every minute of it. The takeoff.
Okay, no, don't share your experience then.
I enjoyed the takeoff, but when we had not landed in Baltimore, I didn't have no hearing flight majority of the time I was there.
Well, no, just tell them the positive things. It's fine.
Oh, I mean, I like the takeoff part. I like the part you go really, really fast and you take off. That's about it. Other than that, I mean, I hated it, but at the same time, it wasn't that bad.
See, I don't mind flying. The taking off and the landing bother me a little bit, but it's not the actual taking off and landing. It's the turning.
It's the landing for me. Yeah. I hate the landing.
So they take off when they're doing their turns in the air and stuff like that, and they're taking off. And
When that, because you take off and then you gotta turn all the way around.
See, and where I live in Milwaukee, like soon as you take off, the first thing they do is fly over Lake Michigan. So why are we flying over the lake? I was mad about that already. So I was mad about that, and then I think the only thing I really hated was the bumps, because I'm like, why is it bumps in the sky? They ain't supposed to be bumps in the sky. I don't like this.
It's turbulent. It's turbulence.
Other than that, I was completely fine with flying.
He said, "Who put this speed bump on this cloud?"
Oh, shit.
I try to explain to him it's like having your adult activities in the bedroom. There's gonna be a little bouncing around a little bit. And I explained it to him. He's like, "Wait, what, Crystal? That's what it is." I'm like,
I mean, I do need to try doing it on an airplane, though.
Yes. I tried to explain this to him.
One day when I'm rich, I keep telling people I only need one chance to prove that winning the lottery would not make me a bad person. One day when I'm rich, I'm going to join the Mile High Club.
You can in Vegas. They have specific. I told you about the flights.
I said rich.
Wait, what?
I'm opposite.
They have like specific flights in Vegas that you can join the Mile High Club. You get like a private, like cabin.
It's expensive.
Well, it's not that expensive. It was like $1,000 tops, and you can get married on there.
That's for rich people. I don't make that kind of money.
That's what I'm saying. First of all, I am trans financial over here.
I understand.
That is the first time I heard that term.
I don't know what that term means.
It means that I am a poor person that was supposed to be rich. I'm poor, but I identify as rich.
And I am a semi-rich person who was supposed to be poor.
And Martel's poor all the time. He's just poor all the time. So,
this is true.
I just tell people I'm poor to avoid paying for stuff.
If you listen to him on the podcast, you talk about how poor he is. Because this son of a gun was supposed to come up and put my Christmas tree up, but he couldn't because they said he had no money. I didn't have no money.
Gas was too damn high.
Yeah,
I ain't never got no money. I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't never got no money.
You had money to come up here and put my Christmas tree up and drop me off.
I could have
2 bottles of wine.
figures. I could have 6 figures in the bank. I could have 6 figures in the bank, and I still ain't got no money.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I just got done charging $2,000 to my credit card, so I'm poor now for real.
Oh, ask Allie about them credit cards.
My credit card right now is maxed out at $7,000, and I have 0 money in my bank account.
Oh, I need to get rid of some. I got 13 of them.
Oh, I mean,
Lord
I just have,
Jesus.
and my Target card, which I don't use anymore, but I liked it because I got 5% back.
That's how they get you. I learned that's how they get you. I need to get rid of some.
That is how they get you. See, I don't do credit cards at all.
But the Apple card is a good card to have, though.
Only do
No,
credit
if I don't
cards
have
because I got tired of
cash-
being no. I mean being told no. That's why I got credit cards.
I'm gonna
Because
tell you right
before I
now,
got
this
credit
is an
cards,
old
my
Southern
credit score
trick.
was horrible.
An old Southern trick is we hide our wealth. You see what I'm saying? So we will save money under a mattress and then go fucking pay for some shit in cash. We don't give a shit about no credit.
What? I mean, I make a lot of large purchases, so some that involves credit.
Well, the house is paid for.
I buy too many plane tickets.
You
I
do
mean,
buy too many plane tickets.
See, me, I
Plane
flip
tickets I've bought in
flip cars a lot.
But it's different because I don't flip cars and the house is paid for.
Because now I'm eyeing the 2022 now. So
And let's be honest, I don't care what kind of car I drive.
see me,
I really don't.
When I know my warranty's about to expire on my car, I get rid of it and go get another one.
No, see, I do the opposite. I go buy me a car that somebody has already ran the shit out of, and then I finish killing it.
It's a beater. You buy a beater.
But I use my car for work too.
All right, so as we're getting down to about the last 4 minutes of the podcast, we'll kind of wind her down a little bit here. So Jackie, Allie, and Bernard, what would you guys like to say about mental health, the holidays, goals? What would go ahead, anyone if you want to start, go for it.
Ladies first. As usual, ladies first.
I just want to say, don't forget that even if you feel like you're alone, no one is ever alone. There's always a support system for you to reach out to. There's always someone out there that knows what you're going through. Um, just don't ever be afraid to reach out to someone, because even if you think the day is your worst day, it's probably not. And sometimes just having a little bit of positive thinking and having someone to talk to, or even just like crying and getting it all out, or being angry, or just working through those emotions, is the thing to do. But especially with the lockdown, and then this year has been just insane, and then the holidays, don't be afraid to reach out to people. There's always someone somewhere um, that is willing to talk to you. So if you feel like you're at rock bottom, just try one more time. Call that person, text that person. There's suicide hotlines you can call. There's several radios on Clapper you can go to that work as mental health crisis radios if you were to come in. So just don't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up.
I agree. And you know, so many people are afraid to talk about you know, thoughts of suicide and stuff, and that's part of why I want to destigmatize everything, is because, you know, it's okay to have those passive thoughts. It's what you do with those thoughts that makes the difference. And you know, I always say, don't make a permanent situation out of temporary feelings. And you know, nobody is really truly alone. It's just that right now you might just need to find your strength. You know, you might just need to see what you're capable of on your own, but that doesn't mean that you are alone. And you know, like she said, just reach out. There's always going to be support somewhere if we just look for them and you know, do our part to bring awareness to them, you know.
Bernard?
Okay. As for Ali and Jackie had said, don't be afraid to reach out for someone. There is a quote that stuck on my head. There's no man in an island. We have someone who is watching us, guiding us to the right direction. It is for us to reach out for that voice, for that inner voice in our head, that we have to never give up, never give in to the darkness of side of life. And there's one more thing that told myself: take day. There's when you drive on the tunnel, right? There's a dark portion of that tunnel, right? What you can see on that end of the tunnel is a light. There's a light, always a light on the end of the tunnel. And always think positive, not negative, and look forward, not backwards. And it's not how we fell down or how many times we fell down. It's the way we get back up.
You know,
There's
go ahead, brother. Go ahead. These are some powerful people giving you some powerful words, talking about the mental health, the holidays, their goals, and how we can move forward, not just as a group, but each individual person as your little group or entourage, and as a complete society. We all got to move forward. We have to check in with everybody. We need to check, because it's just been one thing after another, and we know this world is not going to get any easier, and it's getting crazier by the minute every single day of our life. Okay, well, let me tell you what. I don't care if you're back in the 1900s or 18 something or even 2022, which is coming just right next door. It's coming right up next. By all means, it's never easy. Okay, technology or not technology, It's always going to set us back one way or another. We need to keep moving forward, keep positivity, and always think positive. Martel, what do you got left to say on that one?
I'm just gonna leave a quote from my favorite person in the world, Lillian Garcia, which is believe in yourself and trust that it's enough.
I like that.
Yes, I second that.
So this has been Same Cast Different Day podcast, and don't forget you can check out our merchandise at Martel. Where's that located, buddy?
Oh, man, I'm too drunk for this.
It's located at Cafe Press. Don't forget to check us out at Cafe Press. Look us up at SCDD Podcast for your latest merchandise. I don't know if Martel's going to show off his wine glass this evening for us.
I don't have that wine glass. I got the regular. Wait.
Oh, I have a good one. I have a good one.
There it is.
I have a
right
good
there.
one.
There we go.
My wine glass said, "A wise woman once said, 'Fuck this shit,' and she lived happily ever after." It was gifted to me by the wonderful, wonderful Allie sitting right there in front of you.
Oh my God. My best friend sent me that
Cheers.
glass. She sent me a thermal version of that glass.
I drink out of it almost every time. I love it. It's my favorite.
Don't forget to check us out. We have all our locations on. Don't forget to check us out on social medias on Facebook, Instagram. We're also on our private ones, which are actually on TikTok and Clapper. By all means,
just make sure you follow the Facebook podcast page, which is Same Cast Different Day podcast on Facebook.
And don't forget, always message us if you have any comments, suggestions. You want to be a guest, you want to be an audience member, and you just want to come and give us a hard time. Any one of those above is fine with us. And by all means, we're here to get, as we want to say, maybe get pushed around a little bit by the man there drinking the wine all the time.
Oh yeah, I got 4 bottles of champagne sitting behind me waiting for New Year's Eve.
Like really need to hear more about your wine collection by all means. But please, by all means, check us out. I really appreciate our guests this evening, Mrs. Jackie Ferguson, Miss Allie, and Mr. Bernard. Thank you all three so much for joining us on this evening of the Same Cast Different Day podcast. Don't forget, you check us out on all your local places to get your podcasts, which is your Apple, Spotify, Pandora, and all the places you get your local podcast. Don't forget, we're on YouTube. We do cause trouble. We do get a little antics, and we do like to have a lot of fun. But if you have any suggestions, comments, or questions, please see us on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll be more glad to get back to you. This has been the Same Cast Different Day podcast. I'm your co-host this evening, being the host, Crystal B, with the man over there with the dreads, Martel Rowland. Congratulations on season 4. Thank you, Jackie, Allie, and Bernard for being part of our the last one before we go into take a little break, a little siesta or hiatus or whatever you want to call it, wherever you are around the world. We hope you have a great when we start 2022. We hope that you have a great 2022, a great New Year's. We God bless and wish you all safe travels if you are traveling. And we hope to see you in 2022 when we go on to season 5. And maybe we'll actually be able to have some wine for everybody on the 2022 podcast.
I mean, I do have enough to provide that. So
hopefully
I have my own bottle.
And maybe if we could pull out of Martel's pocketbook, maybe everyone that gets to be our guest actually gets something from Cafe Press. So.
I'm poor.
So then I guess I'll be the ones behind them, I guess. This has been a Same Cast Different Day podcast. I'm your host, Crystal B, again, with the man over there, Martel Rowland. Martel?
What is our slogan again? I forgot. I mean, what's the slogan? The slogan?
A slogan?
I don't know. Oh, Same Cast Different Day podcast, the #1 podcast in Wisconsin for millennials and Gen Z.
Yeah, don't forget, we're the only one out there that actually has a official gay man hope, the host, producer, the man of the hour all the time, the big shot, Mr. Martel Rowland, and and then me, and then just me. I don't know.
All right. Thank
So-
you all.
We wish you the best. God bless everyone, as we always say out there in the YouTube land. Peace, and we will see you again soon.